your name and your profession for us.
My name is Aubrey Rickford, and I'm a naturopathic doctor.
And could you tell us where you practice and how long you've been in practice for?
Right now I'm practicing with a company called Husky Injection Molding. I also have a private practice with some medical doctors in a medical building also in Bolton. I've been practicing since 1998.
And which naturopathic principle do you identify the most with in practice?
First, do no harm. I think it's from a very broad perspective. It applies to even as a naturopath. I think we can harm by not really looking at the patient from a lifestyle perspective. So if we give patients supplements, if we give them IVs, if we just do those particular things without really understanding the essence of the case, that's also doing harm because we're not really going to fix people that way. Without lifestyle changes, you're just not going to get to the root of the cases, and patients will not. You might make them feel better, but you won't fix them, and you also aren't teaching them how to fix themselves. So first, do no harm definitely is the first principle I would focus on.
That's great. What are your top 3 modalities that you like to use?
It depends. At the corporation I work with, it's a lot of industrial, so I'll get a lot of musculoskeletal injuries from people pulling their back, lifting particular things, contact dermatitis. So I end up using a lot of acupuncture and myofascial release. It's the fastest way. They could have a spasmodic torticollis, put a couple of needles in, release the scaly muscles. They got mobility back. The faster you can get them back on the floor, the more you're saving the company the money. So I haven't found anything faster than myofascial release, really helping patients with musculoskeletal injuries. Other than that, it's pretty much everything that a typical naturopath would see, from cancer right down to just pediatrics as well. I do a lot of, again, besides the acupuncture, it's lifestyle. Patients come in, they've got this slew of symptoms. They're disjointed, been to MDs, they're not quite sure. They've got supplements that they're on, maybe they learned from the internet, or friends have suggested, or whatever it is, and they're coming to you to understand it. And a lot of the patients now are very sophisticated because the internet has really leveled the playing field for knowledge for most things. And so they've already looked on the internet and said, I've got GI problems, I can take glutamine, I can take this and that, and they try and play with things. But again, they haven't done 2 things. One, they haven't looked at their lifestyle or the environment as how it affects how their body starts the process of healing. And they're pretty much doing a shotgun approach, which I think a lot of MDs, when they graduate, tend to do with supplements. Just try these particular things, but again, not understanding where the symptoms come from and how they connect to present themselves in that particular patient. Without looking at environment, without starting with the basics, which is your digestion. We all said it in school. It starts with the digestive process. What's coming in through breath, through food, through anything from the external environment, how it's breaking down, how it's absorbing, and how it's eliminating. You start to fix that, and most people get better. So lifestyle is still the most important, and then get them to exercise, get them to sleep, get them to enjoy something in their life. It's all the simpler things. There isn't enough focus, I think, from younger NDs when they come preceptor with me. They just aren't doing the basics, and I hope that we get back to it.
What clinical pearl do you wish other naturopaths would know?
Clinical pearl? If I had to give a clinical pearl, I would say that make sure you spend the time really understanding your patients. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to laugh with them or cry with them. Just be open and honest with them. don't be afraid to look up information in front of them as well. You're there to assist them with your knowledge base, into assist them to get better. And it's a communal thing that you have to do with them. And you have to be human to be able to really connect with the person so that they can share little things that might be obstacles to cure for them. And if they have a preconception of that interaction where you might be on a higher platform than them, you'll often not get to the root of the essence of what their problems are. And I think by getting really close to your patients, really understanding them, you can really achieve and helping them get better. So closeness with your patient, which is certainly great, but it's really important to really understand your patients.
Well said. Can you share what your most gratifying experience has been in practice?
Too many. We're in a privileged position to be able to see people go from one level of illness to a sustainable health where they're happy and enjoyable. And we're so lucky, whether it's we're dealing with cancer patients or cardiovascular, or a lot of times I'm training patients and teaching them about exercise and fitness, and just to see them lose weight and get into shape and have confidence because their body is changing and their mind is changing. And to watch that process, I think we're so lucky to be able to see that whole process occur. Absolutely.
And what's the most surprising thing that's happened in practice?
Surprising thing. That's a tough one. I don't know if I've been really surprised. Okay. Probably the most surprising, probably from my standpoint, I've worked with quite a few medical doctors, both at the corporation I work at and in private practice. I've worked with probably 7 or 8 doctors over the years, medical doctors referring to. And I'm always surprised, when they initially work together, they're often they give a little bit of respect because they don't know you very well, but they don't really respect you. As they get to see your patients come into your office, leave happy, smiling, you're almost like friends, and their patients aren't typically like that. And also seeing that your patients improve, it's seeing them ask questions, and then seeing them use what you do with patients. That's surprising. In fact, some of the MDs, their patients will go see them. I'll see them a little bit later, and they will prescribe stuff that I would have given them, but it's coming from the MD, and that's surprising. But it's a good surprise.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about your legacy?
I'm surprised I have a legacy to share. Again, it's for new MDs. I can't say it anymore. It's focus on the lifestyle. You can't do anything without changing a person's lifestyle. And it starts with digestion. You've got to fix that. And don't think of digestion as just, the correction of, let them eat healthier, look for allergies or food sensitivities. You've got to think about how the food is breaking down, what's coming in, how it's breaking down, how it's absorbing, and that it's eliminating. Because if it doesn't, then everything starts from where the liver doesn't work, the organs don't work, the skin gets ill health. It all starts with digestion. So fundamentals, you got to focus on that.
Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Rickford, and for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you for asking me.